physically pregnant women are unsightly.
So I think that...
And you don't want her at the barbecue because Better Homes and Gardens is going to be taking pictures?
I think you put it in a very simplistic way. I think there are concerns and considerations that we have.
Well, what could a pregnant woman being seen at a barbecue, you say physically pregnant women are unsightly.
So I think that it's common knowledge that the look of a pregnant woman is a little off-putting. The other thing that I think you have to keep in mind, if you have dozens of your very best friends and a lot of people who are there to cover your home and your community, and you have pregnant women who are obviously eating for two people, not one, you're talking about having to look at a pregnant woman eat. Now, I'm sure you can relate to that. Have you ever seen...
No, I don't know what you mean.
You've never seen a pregnant woman eat, because I can tell you it is not something that you want to see. And the
well, what are you talking? They shovel it down like they're. What are you talking about?
They do. They're eating for two people. First of all, I don't know that we have enough food. Secondly, Sharon shows up. She's pregnant. We have a certain number of ribs, a certain number of hamburgers, and these things. Now she sits down. Now she starts to get into the ribs. She's getting into all the food. The next thing you know, there isn't enough for some of the people who showed up. What we're trying, and then we have to actually watch her eat. It's something that
I'm totally shocked.
No, it's something. Trust me, that you don't want to have to look at. You don't even really want to have to hear about it. And if Sharon is at our barbecue, she'll be the talk of the whole homeowners association for weeks on end about how she was, as you put it, shoveling it down. And this sort of nonsense, we don't want that.
All right, I'm sorry. I've never been around that kind of thinking. I could be wrong. Let me go to Westminster on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
I just had a baby recently. Hi.
Hi.
My question is this. I still have the unsightly bulge that would probably not allow me to be welcome at your barbecue. And
I'm not really trying to.
I'm making a point here, and I'm not done speaking.
Yes.
And if you carry 3 children, I carried 1, and believe me, being pregnant is beautiful, as you say, and being part of being pregnant is having that unsightly bulge where the love of my life is being created. Now, if you are too bigoted to be standing there and not able to eat, because I'm there, standing there right next to you with a child in my womb, then I feel very sorry for you.
Well, I don't think you heard everything that I was saying.
Yes, I did hear everything that you said. In fact, I've been raving and ranting for the past 10 minutes because of everything you've been saying. And I'm so angry that you cannot even consider of the fact. You said a few minutes ago that the person, when she walks outside, she wanders. So does that mean that being pregnant no longer gives you a sense of direction?
No, I said that if she leaves her home, people will see her.
Who? You? If you have such a hard time seeing her pregnant, then I suggest that you shut your eyes and stay inside. And for the fact that she eats more than other people, I'm sure you two would be more than willing to accommodate 1 extra rib for her.
Are you finished? Because Phil...
Well, the lady's making a point. Did you hear what she said?
Phil, I heard everything she said. I think that she believes... Are you pregnant now?
I suggested to pay attention to that. I just had a child.
I think that you believed you were beautiful, and I certainly...
No, you know what? I did. I know I was beautiful, and I know...
Have you started to work it off?
And I know everything of who I am.
Have you started to work it off, some of the...
That's none of your business, and it's none of your business the way that she behaves in public either.
Well, I don't think that it's too much to ask that a woman who is eating for 2 people, obviously, doesn't suck down ribs. You
mean stuck down as in a vacuum cleaner. So now we're referring to a pregnant woman like a vacuum cleaner with a bulging back.
Let me jump in here. I have always believed that pregnancy is that state of life that is when a woman is at her sexiest, if you want my honest opinion.
So you're entitled to your opinion.
Well, I'm talking
about what most people think, and most people cannot sit at a picnic table while a pregnant woman siphons down all of the hamburgers, all of the hot dogs, and I'm supposed to sit there and just look at that because she's pregnant and isn't she beautiful?
Well, really, would it make you comfortable if she brought her own picnic basket and siphoned down whatever she brought?
Well,
isn't that what her father, what you had?
Well, then there's the fact that she is with child. It is a little bit unsightly.
Okay, so now we're not only discriminating against race, gender, sex appeal,
I'm not racist. I didn't bring up race.
Oh, no, but you did bring up being pregnant, which is a state of being, as in being gay, as in being black, as in being
No,
Catholic.
you can help being pregnant. You can't help being black. And I'll say this also.
Oh.
Have you ever seen, and I suppose you thought you looked beautiful when you ate fried chicken?
No,
when you were
let me reiterate that.
you were
I know I was beautiful, and I know that everyone around me appreciated the way that I looked because they realized what I was carrying inside of me.
Can I ask you seriously, did you really think while you sucked down fried chicken, while you were pregnant, you thought you were beautiful? Yes. Yes or no? Yes or no answer, please.
Yes, I did.
Well, you are deluded.
No,
What?
I think so, because I am an intelligent human being.
So there we have a big fat woman licking her fingers all day.
You know, the big fat women who are pregnant actually know how to use napkins.
You know, there sounds like there's a little child in the background. Are you beating that child?
Of course.
Well, there we go. There you go.
She's not beating her child.
Well, she makes a joke out of it.
Well, I think that you should really either get a job or do something very, very constructive with your life other than what you are trying to do right now. No woman is probably going through enough already without having to listen to your deluded.
I'm saying that she can come to our bar. You're welcome to it. You're not pregnant now?
No.
You're welcome.
Because for the first time I said I just had a child.
Well, if you've already had your child and you leave it at home, you're welcome to come to our barbecue.
What do you mean leave it at home?
Me 100 miles from that barbecue.
Well, you can listen to
To be able to be in the company of someone as yourself, I don't think so. Thank you very much for letting me make my comment.
Well, I thank you for your call, ma'am. 1-800-5201-KFI. You really touched a nerve.
Well, you know what? There's a woman who has a child screaming at the fuck out in the background. The least she could offer that child would be a milk-laden...
All right, she could feed the child, I think is what you're saying.
Yes. And yet the child screams at the cuts loose. And she wants me to invite a pregnant woman to our barbecue where we have allotted a certain number of ribs, a certain number of bratwurst, a certain number of hamburgers. Sharon shows up, as you put it, Phil, shovels down half the hamburgers. By the time the rest of the homeowners get there, we're going to have to make a run to Vons. I don't think it's proper. I don't think that it is selfless. I think it's very selfish.
Inviting a pregnant woman to your barbecue.
Yes.
Bobby Dooley is on the line with us here from the Western Estates Homeowners Association, their 10th annual Homeowners Barbecue this coming weekend. They have uninvited a pregnant member of their community because, among other reasons, you've been hearing it, she's going to eat too much of their barbecue. Now, racism, no. Bigotry, absolutely. 1-800-5201-KFI, Orange County, 5201-KFI in LA County. Phil Hendrie Show, KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Vicki Moore, the KFI News Center.
Thanks, Phil. Plenty of thick smoke and fire still in the Cajon Pass in San Bernardino County. KFI's Mike.
One there.
In your house?
No.
I would assume major appliances. Jesus Christ.
Tim and Neil.
Oh, hey, there's the mitt over here you can take.
Tonight at 10 on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
Phil Hendrie.
What?
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. The Phil Hendrie Show. Bobby Dooley, president of the Western States Homeowners Association. We're talking about their barbecue that's coming up on Saturday. You brought up the fact that a pregnant woman who is a member of your board is not allowed at this because pregnant women are somehow unsightly.
Well, Phil, I was talking to my husband, and my husband believes that there is a time and a place for that kind of indulgence. And
why are you still talking about this?
And Steve just asked me, why are we still talking about this?
Was that Steve?
Yes.
We're still talking about it because I
came on here to talk about the barbecue and our 10 years in the community. And
yeah, but I don't think this is boding well for your community when you're not letting a pregnant woman there because she's eating too much or she's too fat looking.
Phil, I don't want to have a very dear friend of mine and a woman who's done a lot for this community sitting there and licking fat off of her fingers for 2 hours. I don't want a very dear friend of mine sitting there and reaching across the table for another hamburger without a bun and eating it with her hands. I'm trying to save her from the...
Just what do you think pregnant women do? Eat with their hands and lick their fingers?
Have you ever been pregnant? Have you ever?
Why are you still talking about it?
Hold on a minute, Steve. Have you ever been?
Would you tell your husband if he wants to talk to me, he can get on the phone?
If you want to talk to me, get on the phone.
Well, I don't know why he's still talking about it.
Have you ever?
He's talking in the background. It's very, very disturbing to me. Okay.
Have you ever been pregnant?
No, I've never been pregnant.
Well, still, it is one hemorrhoid, one gas discharge, one lifting of one finger after the next. It is an absolute. It's a wonderful thing to have children, but pregnancy is foul and vile. Fluid discharging, gas discharging, hemorrhoids, varicose veins. I'm going to have that at a barbecue when my husband has worked all week on his ribs and all week.
She's not doing that at the barbecue, for God's sake.
I mean, still, we don't need land values going down. We are going to be seen by some of the biggest magazines. That's the point we're trying to make, and I think you keep missing it.
What? Hey, tell the guy not to take her picture. I don't know what to tell you. Let me go to Huntington Beach on KFI AM 640. Hello?
Hi.
Yes, hi.
I have so many points to cover now. What I understand, you have this barbecue to showcase your wonderful community. Now, who is this community geared towards? Is it for the people of the community, or is it for magazines and for how aesthetically pleasing you are to the world?
Well, that's what makes a good community, I think. The fact that you are a presentable community, you have beautiful homes, you have wonderful children, and you have good families.
Yeah, this sounds like the Stepford Wives to me. Because if you're so concerned for how appearances are, can I have fat friends come over if I live there? Will you have annual weigh-ins to make sure that I fall within the boundaries of what is pleasant and what is not?
No, when you're talking about good health and you're talking about good personal health, I think there are a lot of people who are overweight who exercise some self-control. Naturally, you don't want to have those people at a public event.
Right.
Where they could be embarrassing you. You understand?
I also know football.
Well, what are you talking about? Fat people are not allowed?
No, but they exercise self-control. When you have a pregnant woman and she's eating for two people, do you see what I'm saying?
She's not eating two people. She's just eating for two people.
That's right.
You understand there is a difference, right?
Absolutely, and that's why we feel it's best that she stay inside the house for the day.
But
Can she come out of the house?
No, she can't come out of the house.
No, you're sending her away.
I'm sorry? No,
you're sending her away because you don't want her to do anything wrong. What does that mean? How can she stand to live in that community knowing how she...
Have you ever been pregnant?
No, I have not. But I have been around plenty of people who are.
It is a curse in a lot of ways.
You know what, Bobby? Maybe you're the one who has a problem when you're pregnant. You're talking about flatulence and not being able to control your eating habits. I think maybe it was you.
No.
I don't know any other pregnant women who have been like that and who have been so out of control.
Well, you know something.
If you want to hide them away.
You know something? We don't need her big white rear end popping out for everyone to see.
Why are you still talking about this?
Because the man has been talking about it. My husband really wants us to move on to something else.
No, you know what? I don't want to move on, okay? I would rather talk about this because I think that this is something that is, I don't know, that speaks to the human condition, okay? La Habra Heights on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Hi, this is Michelle.
They're still talking about it.
Yes, Michelle.
I have a few issues. You know, I understand that you have an association, and when I bought in, and I have an association, there are rules in my association, and pretty much I would never have signed anything that agreed to anything like this. Families buy homes, and families make neighborhoods, and women have these children, and that's how they become a family.
Well, of course.
And Better Homes and Gardens does not have anything in there that would offend anybody in any way, shape, or form. And as far as being pregnant, I was pregnant and lost 16 pounds. My stepmother, who was in her 40s, just had a pregnancy and had a beautiful child. She hosted many dinner parties for many high-powered people while she was pregnant. And I think that for you to say that that's a disgusting thing, or they overeat, they don't have self-control.
Hold on for a minute. Is that your husband?
Yes, it's my husband, Steve.
Would you tell him to be quiet, please?
They want you to be quiet.
I don't know why you're still talking about it.
Because they want to talk about it.
Pregnant women.
That woman you're talking to right now, is she fat?
Are you overweight?
No, I'm not.
My husband wants to know.
And if I was, my husband seems to like mine, okay? But other than that,
you got a big ass.
My husband wants to know if you have a big ass. I don't know.
Part of this.
Tell your husband if he wants to talk, he can get on the extension. I don't want to keep hearing him in the background, please.
They don't want you to talk in the background.
I just want to know if you had a big ass.
I don't know.
God. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Him that way?
Go ahead.
I think that she is part of your community, and my neighbor can be fat, my neighbor can be disabled, my neighbor can look any way that may cause somebody else to have, that may cause somebody from the outside to not want to take a second look at her. But she is my neighbor.
That's good for La Habra
to
Heights.
live with her. And I'm going to show my neighbor all of the kindness, all of the consideration, and all of the understanding that I can.
And when she snatches the last hamburger at a barbecue out of the mouth of your child, what are you going to say then?
You know what? The thing is,
when she snatches the last
every person. Now, my neighbor.
What do you mean snatch the last rib from the mouth of your child? What makes you think that
pregnant women are like that with food?
Pregnant women are not like that. How many children do you have?
I have 3 sons, thank you very much.
And
I
that's
raised
how
them.
you behaved when you were pregnant?
I will tell you that I would do anything for my children. I would kill for my
that is
children.
how you behaved when you were pregnant?
I will do anything for my children.
No, but you're not answering the lady's question. Yeah, answer her question.
You behaved when you were pregnant?
Wouldn't you?
No, I did not.
Are you telling me you were at a barbecue and...
So, if I am supporting the life of a child inside of me, and there is only one burger left...
I was 8 months pregnant for 4th of July.
Did you snatch a hamburger from the mouth of a kid?
And I'm pretty sure that not only did I make enough to bring as a potluck, that there was plenty, but I'm pretty sure that everybody had leftovers and still went home. And regardless,
excuse me,
if she wants to eat 3 hamburgers, then that would be on her, and that would be whether she would choose to be embarrassed over that or not whether you would choose to be embarrassed over that or not.
It was my constitutional right. When the police arrived, I told them that I was pregnant.
And why were the police there?
Well, because there was quite a fight that broke out.
What you hold on for a minute. I got to get the story here, okay?
So I did not come on your program to talk.
No, I want to get the story. You took a hamburger away from a kid.
Well, one of the mothers attempted to assault me. So what do you want me to say?
Did you assault her?
Yes, I did.
With your fists?
So you're the one that's out of control when you're pregnant.
With a barbecue.
So has she assaulted anybody?
You went after a woman with a...
Anybody?
What was your question, ma'am?
Has she assaulted anyone or made any threats to anybody?
What did you do?
Did you assault this woman?
I went after her with a barbecue fork, yes.
Well, then
Good God.
What is the problem, ma'am? I'm having a hard time following you.
You're the one with the problem thinking that because you set a record for how, and you set somebody, you set...
You attacked a mother and a...
how pregnant women behave, which is totally wrong.
You attacked another woman at a barbecue because you took a hamburger from her kid's mouth. She went after you and you stabbed her with a barbecue fork?
And what? You couldn't go get potato salad instead and let the kid have what he had? You can't tell me that was the last piece of his existing food in that barbecue.
I was carrying my 3rd son. No one takes a burger from Bobby Dooley on a hormone high.
Oh, you know what? But see, that's maybe that's Bobby Dooley. But the woman that you live with, she is part of that association. And you know what? I would sue you if you did that.
What are you going to sue? We have very good attorneys. She can sue us.
Well, you know, but the thing is...
But I can tell you that's what she's asking for.
That's absolutely ridiculous to ask her to do something like that. She is part of your community. So what do you know...
I am
so
trying to avoid violence.
Get invited next? The person who's in the wheelchair because that would look nice in Better Homes and Gardens?
Frankly, you're right. I mean, we can't have...
Wait, nobody in a wheelchair?
Well, we don't have one living here in a wheelchair, thank God. But I'm trying to avoid...
Thank God?
Well, you can't have people in wheelchairs where we live.
Why can you not? I live in La Habra Heights, and there is a woman that lives just a few blocks down from me that is fully immobile in a wheelchair. She has a wonderful daughter that plays with my daughter. She is a total professional woman. She works for the city of La Habra and helps people with rehabilitation programs.
I think the
answer... You cannot say that she would not be an asset to your community or to have in your community.
First of all, La Habra Heights has a very high concentration of paraplegics and quadriplegics. In our community...
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't aware of statistics. I didn't know I was talking to somebody who was aware of all the statistics. Oh, okay, thank you.
La Habra Heights has a very high concentration of the quad. Yes.
The quad.
So you wouldn't want to live in our area then?
Oh, you couldn't expect me to live there.
Oh, you know what? You wish you could live in the house I live in.
Darling, I live in an $800,000 home.
This is getting to sound really, your nose is at full mast. You know what I'm saying, Bobby? Like you live in an $800,000 pad. You haven't got any quads living around you. What are you talking about?
You obviously haven't been to La Habra Heights lately and seen very many estimates on homes out there, have you?
Listen, La Habra Heights says it all, okay? I live in the valley, okay? Thank you.
Oh, she's a girl.
Well, excuse me, Mrs. Vanderbilt.
You know, the thing is that it doesn't matter where you live. You could live in downtown Fullerton.
If you want to live with the plege and the quad, that's your business.
You know what? You're right. That is my business. And I would choose to live with any neighbor who...
And let's not forget, but Bobby, she may be living with quadriplegics. You're living with a pregnant woman.
Only that she won't be pregnant for long.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank God for that.
She won't be your friend anymore either.
Yeah, you'll lose a very dear friend. Thank you for your call, ma'am. You'll lose a very dear friend because you don't want her stealing ribs out of some kid's mouth. Did you get a load of that? I'd love to look up the police report on that. She was pregnant with her third kid, and she went after some woman with a barbecue fork because she was taking a hamburger out of her mouth. 1-800-5201-KFI, 5201-KFI, Phil Hendrie, KFI, AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Alan LeGreen in the KFI Traffic Center.
And right now, Phil, still problems downtown, south on the Harbor Freeway at Wilshire.
Saying.
And says, the lady in La Habra Heights...
Well, that lady was talking about a person who was confined to a wheelchair, and she asked you, wouldn't that person be allowed at your barbecue?
So I lived in an area where there was a very high concentration of the quad and the plege.
And when you say quad and plege, what are you saying?
The paraplegic and the quadriplegics. We lived in an area where there were an awful lot of them. They're wonderful people, but my husband was working late. He slept late, and he was not able to get a fair amount of sleep because of the high concentration.
Why?
Because these are people who are only able to access areas by way of a wheelchair. Many of them were not oiling the chairs, and he was awakened every morning by he was awakened every morning by squeaking wheelchairs going up and down the street. And I think that there comes a time when you have to draw the line, and that's what I'm talking about.
Get the hell out of here. I got sleep.
I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, I can hear him yelling in the background.
No, he could not sleep.
I want to beat me a quad.
Well, he couldn't sleep.
Because of squeaky wheelchairs.
Yes. And that's what we're trying to avoid at Western States.
Santa Ana on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Hi.
Yes.
So I had so many comments, but I'm just going to boil them down.
Go ahead.
First one. So instead of listening to squeaky chairs, why not perform some community service and get out there and oil them, and then allow your husband to sleep in late?
Well, you know something, that's not our responsibility.
No, but it is your responsibility to bitch and complain about them afterwards, isn't it?
Well, we moved. We didn't make them change their lifestyle.
Of course. So my second advice is, your friend, I don't know, I can't remember what you called her, Sharon?
Sharon is my friend.
Yes. There's a saying in Spanish that says, with friends like these, you don't need enemies. I really
whatever that means.
Some legal advice.
Whatever.
Person.
We have very good attorneys.
Well, you know, and having very good attorneys and having very
why does it have to come down to that?
Money does not have anything to do with being a good person.
Why does it have to come down to suing, okay? Why can't you just let the lady be there?
We had the experience, Phil, of a pregnant woman at our barbecue.
And what was that like?
It was disgusting.
It was disgusting because you were arrested?
Have you ever been pregnant?
Actually, yes, I have. Thank you very much. And I have a beautiful son.
Well, did you ever lick a grill clean when they ran out of food?
No, actually, I have manners.
Well, guess what? She did.
She licked a grill clean.
She licked a barbecue grill clean.
Ma'am,
get out of here.
You live in a very affluent community, don't you?
Yes, we do.
You do. So I'm supposing that people, then what you're telling me is that people with money don't have any manners, don't have any etiquette, and don't know how to behave in public when they're pregnant. Is that what you're telling me?
No, this was at a different community that we lived at.
Okay, but you're assuming the same thing of your friend.
Well, you tell me.
No, I'm telling you, I'm repeating exactly what you said. You are assuming that your friend is going to be so grotesque because she is pregnant that she will lick a grill clean,
darling,
steal burgers off of a child's hand, and then she will take the last rib that you have. If you were so in such an affluent community, why not go out and spend, what, $50?
I got it, yeah, exactly. Go out and buy some extra coleslaw. Get some extra burgers.
If there are left,
we have.
Donate them to the poor and have a good time with your pregnant friend. Oh, by the way, here's another question. Do you have any homosexuals living in your community?
Well, no, I don't go door to door and canvassing on that. Do you?
Actually, yes.
Oh, you do. You go and you
my next door
intrude
neighbor
into the sex lives of people. We don't intrude into people's sex
Oh,
lives.
but you do restrict them into their home.
No, we told you. You are so rude. You're not listening to anything I'm saying.
Actually, no. You are so
No, I
rude.
think you are very rude. Number one, we are trying to save this girl from embarrassment. Number
Embarrassment, or are you trying to save yourself from being a prejudiced individual?
This woman's a right bitch.
What did he say?
Phil said, Phil, I am trying to...
No, she's a bitch.
Actually,
All right, listen, I don't need to hear that, okay?
Well, I will tell you this. We run out of ribs, we run out of hamburgers, because some woman who decided she'd get knocked up in the middle of the biggest social season of the year.
Oh, so now she's getting knocked up. Is she married, by the way?
In the middle of the biggest social season of the year.
Is
and
she
they could have
married?
thought about this. Yes,
Is she
she's married.
So
But
then I don't understand what the problem would be, because according to you, or I'm sorry, what I seem to gather from your stupid comments is the fact that if she is pregnant, she should be married, she should be living in this affluent community, but that still makes her being knocked up. I thought that was only reserved for poor Spanish girls on the street.
You're fat, aren't you?
I'm sorry?
You're fat, aren't you?
No, I'm not actually. I have a gorgeous body.
I
wear a size 6, and I have a great ass. You can tell that to your husband too.
Good for your body. She does sound fat.
Yeah, my husband says you sound large.
Really?
Yeah.
Does he take that notion off of you?
No, I can just tell by the fat in your throat.
That's fat in your throat.
Thank you.
All right, this is ridiculous. Thank you for your call. Here is Newport Beach on KFI M640. Hello. The fat in your throat.
Yeah. This
Hi.
is Sarah from Newport Beach. Your comments just keep getting outrageous.
No, I'm trying to make a point with this woman who doesn't respect the rights of children to eat a rib, to have a dog, to have bratwurst.
What? Are you for real?
I am saying, when a fat woman sits down at a picnic table, watch out. You better reach for the food.
Yeah, thanks. I've eaten with quite a few pregnant ladies, and it doesn't at all bother me.
It doesn't piss you off.
Curious.
We're tired of running out of links. We're tired of running out of ribs. All right? There's something wrong with that?
Yeah, there's a lot wrong with that. If you're so affluent and rich, why don't you go to the grocery store and buy some more?
Well, then we have to stop it. Somebody's got to get in the car and make a run. And if we've been drinking, that's drinking and driving. Who's going to go to the store?
I've got a buzz on. I'm not going.
Wow.
If you have a buzz on in the middle of a barbecue, who's making a run?
Wow.
I refuse to make links run in the middle of the day.
You know what? Don't try to change.
I'm not trying to change the subject. The point is, she's pregnant. She doesn't get in. When she drops the kid, and it ought to be in another month or two, she can have at it.
Okay.
Okay? Okay?
Yeah, I think you're probably the most craziest person I've ever heard in my life.
My husband wants to know, are you large?
No, not at all. Completely fine.
They all sound like. Everyone.
Easy? How can you tell?
Because you have a fat voice.
Oh, I have a fat voice. Thanks.
What is that supposed to mean?
How do you judge that?
So this is the way the cheeks press in on your teeth?
What?
The way your fat cheeks are pressing in on your teeth.
Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't know there was such a thing as a fat expert. Anyway, are you like some sort of...
I happen to enjoy Western Estates, and someday you may be able to live there. But
no thanks. I have a beautiful home in Newport Beach. I wouldn't want to live in.
We have a beautiful home, too.
Lose the weight, you can move here.
Lose the weight? Oh, my God.
KFI Los Angeles, more stimulating talk radio.
Bye.
Talk radio.
KFI mostly clear.
But I read about the prize pupil of Woody Guthrie, and they're in a classroom. So Bob Dylan is like the prize student, and looking over his shoulder and copying is Bruce Springsteen, and looking across the aisle and copying from Bruce Springsteen is John Cougar Mellencamp. And they're all, and the headmaster is Woody Guthrie. Who are those guys? You know who he is? But in any event, it was interesting, and I thought very pointed remark upon the influences those artists have had upon each other, and of course the history of American music. But that's really not what we're here to talk about, is it? I don't know. Who's the guy you got holding on? Is he serious? I'll talk to the guy if he's serious. Our number is 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in LA County. And who's this here? Who's this? Don?
Hi, Phil. How are you?
Good. Tell me what's going on.
listening to your program, and I was talking to the man who answered the phone, and he said for me to just tell you what's going on with me, so that's what I was going to do.
What's going on with you?
Well, I guess I have a fear of something that I read about in the newspaper. A woman was walking out of a building, and I guess somebody threw something, and she's crippled now. I guess I'm having a very difficult time dealing with it.
Somebody threw something out of a building?
Yeah, this lady is, I read in the newspaper, she's a musician, and she was leaving a building, and janitors threw garbage from the top of the building, and the bag came down and hit the woman on the head, and she's crippled.
I didn't hear about that. Did you hear about that thing? When did that happen?
I think it happened a couple of days ago. And I've been thinking about that, and I'm thinking that any time something could come out of the sky, I guess, and hit you on the head, I've heard about airplane engines falling out of the sky and coming through people's ceiling and all that. And I have a fear of that happening, and I know that it's irrational, and I'm a husband and a father, and I hold down a job. I work down the Wilshire Corridor, and I know that all of this sounds crazy, but I just have...
You have a fear of something falling out of the sky and hitting you?
I have a fear of that at any time, I guess you could die from something like that. And I've heard about objects coming loose from airplanes and going through homes. At any moment, somebody could drop something from the sky. And
you realize it sounds nuts, don't you?
Yes, I do. I absolutely recognize that. I just wish that I knew how to control it, because it's consuming every waking moment almost.
You have what's called a phobia, my man. It's almost an obsessive-compulsive kind of phobia.
Yes, I know that. I know that.
And you're worried about stuff falling from the sky?
I'm worried about it because I read about the lady walking out of the building, that any time, because we have so much, airborne aircraft. When I work down the Wilshire Corridor, we have a lot of buildings. I read something somewhere that it sounds crazy, but if you drop a penny from the top of the Empire State Building, that it will pick up speed. It could go through a man's skull.
And if somebody dropped a penny from the top of the Empire State Building, I don't buy that.
It picks up enough speed, it could go right through your skull. And I heard about these people who shoot their guns off up in the air and the bullets come down. I'm not doing too good.
You aren't doing too good, are you?
No, I'm not.
First of all, I don't believe that a penny could go through your skull if they dropped it from the top of the Empire State Building, okay?
Yeah.
Because, first of all, I believe the penny isn't aerodynamic. I mean, it's going to flatten out. It's going to hit air currents. It's not going to go through your head. I don't know. Now, I've heard about people shooting guns off up in the air. It's not supposed to be very safe. In fact, a little boy just died from something like that. And that's insane. But the odds, you have to understand.
Well, everybody says that to me. Everyone says it. My wife said that to me. All my friends say to me, the odds of that happening are really astronomical, but there's always that one time. And it's like a plane crash, it's always that one time. And I'm afraid when I'm driving down the road, even in my car, that something could drop out of the sky and hit me. Well, I have a lot of work to do. And like I said, I work in the Wilshire Corridor, and today I was walking down the middle of the street because I didn't want to go near any of the buildings. And I saw a scene where the guy falls from an elevator on TV.
I didn't hear about that.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want to be crazy, but I have.
You have a fear of something falling out of the sky and hitting you. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I have to tell you, Don, that it's just, and I'm going to tell you something that everybody else has told you, that it's the odds of that happening is insane. It's just not going to happen. I mean, yeah, some people have been hit by crap that's fallen out of the sky. And I guess nothing in life is sure. You understand that?
Well, that's the part that worries me, because I guess I'm afraid.
You're afraid of dying. Is that what you're afraid of?
I'm not so much afraid of dying. I'm afraid of what happened to that lady, is she's paralyzed for life.
Because some guys threw a bag of garbage off the top floor of a window.
Well, I come out of a building, I'm looking up in the air and make sure that no one is dropping anything. Yeah, I walk out of a building and look up in the air and make sure that no one's dropping anything.
Have you thought about going to a doctor?
I don't want to go to a doctor because I know that they'll probably medicate me, and I don't want any medication. My wife and I right now are trying to have a child, and I'm afraid of the medication. You know, will make my penis work improperly for to make the baby, and my wife and I are trying to have the baby.
Don, you and your wife are trying to have a kid, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the least of your worries right now, man. I don't think you should be making a baby. I think you ought to be going to a doctor to find out about this fear you have of something falling out of the sky on you, okay? Because there's all kinds of phobias. You heard about these things?
I've heard of people who are afraid of wide open spaces and everything. And
yeah, I think it's agoraphobia. I don't know what it's called, but there's phobias about going over bridges. There's phobias about going into wide open spaces. There's claustrophobia, being in an enclosed space, you know? You know what I mean?
It's gotten pretty bad with me, though.
Well, how bad is it?
I can't walk on a sidewalk. I walk down the center of streets to get away from buildings because I'm afraid a thing will fall on me.
Well, that can't be safe, you walking down a street. How can that be safe for you walking down the middle of the street?
Because I can see the cars.
And you can't see what's flying out of the sky?
No. Not unless I'm looking up in the air all the time. And I know that there's something wrong with me. I know that I'm not right. But walking down the street looking up in the sky all the time is wrong, too. And
you need to go to a psychiatrist. You need to talk to somebody. You need to talk to some of these counselors to talk about phobias, you know?
But what about medication? I don't want them to do that.
I don't know if they put you on medication, okay?
It's just that I don't want someone throwing it's crazy. I thought about a big pen coming out of a window and have it go down the middle of me, you know.
Boy, buddy, you are out there.
I know I'm crazy. I know that it's wrong.
You're afraid of a guy throwing a big pen out the window and it's going to go right down the middle of you?
I read a story, and it was one of these newspapers. They had it's the crazy news. I heard about a story where a big pen went clear through a guy, and as serious as the heart attack went right out of his anus. When the
pen went through the guy and went right out his rear end.
When they threw it out of a window, yeah. And it went pen side first into him, and that's all I worried about that. And I worry.
This is an irrational fear that you have, Don. You hearing me?
Yes.
You're hearing what I'm saying?
Yes.
This is an irrational fear that is based in something going on in your psyche, okay? It has nothing to do with stuff falling out of the sky. It has to do with what's going on in your head, okay?
Well, big pen.
And forget about the big pen flying out of a window, all right?
But that could kill a man, couldn't it?
I have no idea whether someone throwing a big pen out of a window could kill a man, okay? I am saying that what's going on with you is a mental condition.
I don't want the medication, though. If you go to a doctor...
There's no guarantee they're going to give you medication. The guy may talk you through this, okay? You think
look, at the pen going through a guy's head and down and out his ass, is that going to kill a man?
Yeah, that would probably kill a guy if it goes through his head. Going out his rear end isn't going to kill him. Going through his head would kill him.
You think so?
Well, yeah, so now you're worried about that?
Well, do you think so?
Yes, it would probably kill him.
See, that's what I'm worried about. Oh, God, why? Oh, God, why?
Wait a second, man.
Well, you verified it, though.
No, but I'm saying, what's the chances of that happening? The chances of a guy throwing a bag of garbage out of the window of a building and hitting you on the head are very slim. However, if a guy was to do that and hit you on the head, it would probably leave you paralyzed. You're right. I have lived 46 years. Nothing's ever hit me from the sky. How old are you?
I'm 37.
37 years old. You've lived 37 years. Has anything ever dropped out of the sky and hit you?
Well, I'm not sure. Because I thought something did. When I was 16, I was in New York City, and I was downtown Manhattan, and someone had tossed something out of a window, because I remember someone hit me on the head, and I remember seeing it hit the street, and I lost consciousness for a minute, and someone said that it was a bird or something, and I said, well, I don't think that the bird could do that, but they said the bird's high enough up, it can hurt you.
And what, if a pigeon takes a dump from too high up, it's going to crack your skull? It's not going to happen. Do you understand?
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And
well, I think you need a doctor. I think you need a psychologist who can get to the root of your phobia, and who can get to the root of the problem you're having, because I can guarantee you it's got nothing to do with stuff falling out of the sky.
Well, what could it be?
Something happened in your life that made you feel insecure or not sure of yourself, and you're looking around for weird crap. I remember this lady one time, I heard some head shrinker show. This lady said that she was afraid she had her dog in the dryer. You know why? Because she had mistakenly put a small animal in the dryer once, and it so freaked her out that she always had to open up the dryer to make sure that there wasn't a dog in there, even though she didn't own a dog. She wasn't nuts, but she was all locked into this thinking, you see?
Yeah.
Maybe when that bird went on you in New York City.
I don't. That's crazy about a dog being in a dryer.
Yeah, it's crazy about a dog being in a dryer. It's also nuts about you worrying about somebody dropping a bag of garbage on you, okay?
So you think there's something wrong with me?
I think you need to talk to somebody.
But a dog being in a dryer isn't something that's going to happen. You know that. The thing falling from the sky, it happens.
You see, you're just obsessing on this over and over and over again. Stuff falling out of the sky, man, hitting you on the head, it ain't going to happen. Yeah, stuff falls out of the sky.
Do you remember?
Are you listening to what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, but do you remember about the...
Are you listening to what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Stuff falling out of the sky is a rarity.
But what about the satellites that break up and come through the atmosphere?
Yeah, they fall on the
pieces of satellite that would come down.
Are you afraid of being hit by a satellite?
Pieces of satellite come down.
Look, hold on for a minute, Don. We got a head shrinker in the audience? Because I ain't it. This guy's afraid of stuff coming out of the sky and hitting him on the head. 1-800-5201-KFI, 5201-KFI. Phil Hendrie Show on KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. Alan LeGreen from the KFI Traffic Center.
And right up Phil in Long Beach on the northbound 710, the Long Beach Freeway at Willow. One big rig plus 3 cars equals quite a crash, although everything is over on the right shoulder. Again, that's the northbound 710 at Willow. Eastbound 101, the Ventura Freeway at Laurel Canyon. Watch out for a stall. That's in the middle where you listen.
Okay.
Community banking from county.
Point under.
Tomorrow, KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio.
Go to hell.
Bill Hendrie.
KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio. We can walk into the psychiatrist's office. He can take one look at you and say,
Go to hell.
something like that. All right, I'm not trying to make light of this here. We got Don on the line here. Don, where are you calling? Are you calling from your car right now?
Yes, I am, Phil.
And where are you at?
I'm in Temple City right now.
Okay, listen, I'm not trying to make fun.
I know, I've been driving around listening to your program, and I know that it sounds crazy, and
I'm not calling you crazy, okay? I want you to know that. Everybody has a weird phobia. You don't want it to paralyze you. You don't want to not be able to go out.
Yes, sir.
You want to be able to live your life. You and your wife are thinking of having a child. I mean, you have a job. And if you're afraid of things falling out of the sky and hitting you, that paralyzes your life, doesn't it?
Well, it's very difficult because I'm engaged, I think, in some pretty bizarre behavior.
But at least you can see that. You recognize that, you know? You're not saying, oh, I'm fine and the rest of the world is nuts. That's the real sign of a nutcase, okay? You see you got this problem.
I read a story, and it was...
Is this another story about something coming out of the sky?
Listen, I read a story about a man who got angry, and he threw an 8-track tape out a window, and it killed a man. And it was back in the 70s. And I think it was a Bob Seger tape or something, and he got pissed off or something. He pulled it out of the tape deck and threw it, and it killed a man.
A lot of guys throw Bob Seger tapes out the window. I'm sorry, it was a joke, okay?
Well,
I'm sorry, I was making a joke, okay?
I understand.
All right, Hammond on KFI AM 640. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I wanted to comment on the caller.
Yes, ma'am.
When I was younger, I'm 30 years old, and when I was younger, I had a phobia of like moving out and being on my own because I had like this incredible fear that like somebody was going to come in and get me at night.
Because you were living at home and this was your first experience on your own?
Yeah.
Right.
And I always got up and I always checked the locks on the windows and the doors and everything. And I went to counseling, and within 6 months to a year, I got through it. I'm living on my own now. I'm fine. You know, I got over that fear. So, and I wasn't medicated. So it can work if you go to counseling and talk to somebody.
They didn't medicate this lady.
No.
Did you when you got your counseling, was it with a regular psychologist or with a psychiatrist?
Yeah, it was just a psychologist counselor. They didn't see the need to send me to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist is the one that usually medicates you. You know.
Do you know what could be wrong with me just based on your experience?
Well, you know what? I think in my life, it was something that happened to me when I was little, and it was just a fear that was within
like somebody abandoned you or something.
Yeah.
Well, I never had nothing drop on me, as far as I know. And did they make you have sex with them or anything like that?
No. It was just I talked to a woman counselor, I mean, I went to a woman counselor and just talked to her for about 6 months.
Because I've heard stories about how counselors try to have, they get, what's the word? They go over their boundaries with people.
Oh,
They will try to have sex with you.
That wasn't my case.
Well, that didn't happen to her, okay?
But I've heard stories about that.
See, what you're doing is you're developing another phobia.
Uh-huh.
All right?
Well, no, sir. No, sir. I'm just afraid that someone will go cross boundaries with me and try to, I've heard they fondle people and this sort of thing.
You know, you're letting that overtake your life.
Yeah, what's going on with this, okay?
No, I want to be good. I want to get better, and I want my life to be better. But I've heard that they do some what they call hypnotic therapy, where they will hypnotize you and try to.
Well, you know what? That's in a whole different realm.
But if they hypnotize me and then sodomize me or something.
Yeah, but that's not usually the case, though. You just go in and you just talk to somebody, and you just tell them your problem, and then they start getting to the core of the problem of, you know.
Yeah. Do they usually? I mean, they don't usually sodomize patients, do they?
No, not at all.
I don't think I'd want that.
Nobody would want that.
Happened to me.
That never happened to you?
No.
Can you say that with certainty? Because
nobody would want that to happen to them. And yes,
I would have known if somebody tried to molest me or something. I mean.
Did they put you in hypnotic therapy?
No, and they usually don't.
I'm afraid if I go on medication, my wife and I are trying to have a baby now.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
A lot of it makes your genitals not work. And I don't want my genitals not to work for to have.
You know what? I don't think that has anything to do with it. I mean, because the medication is like a serotonin. If they do medicate you, it's a serotonin that goes directly to your brain.
Right.
And it doesn't have anything to do with your private parts.
I need the little general to do his job. You know, I don't want that to be.
Well, you got bigger fish to fry, pal, than that right now. You're afraid of stuff falling on you, and now you're afraid to go to a psychiatrist because you're afraid the guy's going to sodomize you.
They don't. You know what? They don't do that at all.
Do they usually do that?
No, they don't. They don't usually. I mean, unless you go to like a hypnotist or something like that.
A hypnotist licensed to do that?
To sodomize you?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think so. They're not supposed to. But
they're not supposed to.
That's not usually the case with a psychiatrist or a psychologist.
What do you mean a hypnotist licensed to sodomize you?
I'm just afraid. I just have fear.
You know, you just need to go. You need to go and try it once and just talk to somebody.
But if they tried to fondle me, would I have legal recourse?
I think you're getting another phobia here. You're getting a phobia about stuff dropping on you and a counselor fondling you.
How are they going to fondle you when they're sitting in the desk across from you talking to you?
By hypnotizing me and then fondling me?
But they're not going to hypnotize you. They don't do that.
Yeah, unless they do hypnotic therapy, you don't have to do that.
Do they give you a written guarantee that you won't be fondled?
A written guarantee?
I'm telling you, they're not going to do that.
If they can guarantee that I will not be entered anally, then I would go. But if they can't guarantee it, what's the purpose?
You know what? I've been to a psychiatrist and psychologist, and they've never done that to me. Okay?
Okay.
I'm being honest with you. They've never done that to me. They usually just talk to you, and they send you on your way.
Okay.
And you go back maybe like once a month.
Right.
You know?
Can you check that out for me? My name is Don. Now, what is your name?
Kathy.
Kathy, hi. How are you?
Hi, fine.
I'm very sorry to be so. I'm very afraid, and I know that I can get through this.
You'll get through it, man. But you need a good counselor, okay?
That's what you need.
It's just I don't want something.
Because otherwise, you're just going to get worse in your mental state of mind. It's just going to get worse.
I just don't want things to hit me from the sky, and I don't want to be sodomized by a psychiatrist.
But what are the chances of something hitting you?
You got like two really weird fears, brother.
The chances are slim, but it happens to people. You know?
You're afraid of something falling out of the sky and being sodomized by a psychiatrist.
Yes, sir.
Well?
You know what? When I was like about 7, I got hit by a car.
Oh God! Are you okay? Were you okay?
Well, I was knocked like 10 feet in the air, and I hit 10 feet on my head, and I got up and I walked into my mom's house. And I never but I didn't let that stop me from crossing the street again, you know?
No, I'm afraid of that now.
What are you afraid of?
I might get hit by a car because I'm out in the middle of the street.
Well, don't be walking in the middle of the street.
But I'm afraid of something hitting me from the sky.
But there's nothing that's going to fall out of the sky, though. Do you understand?
But things do fall out of the sky, like the satellites come down, and all the pieces come down and hit a man's house.
Yeah, but what are the chances of that happening?
And if I go to a psychiatrist, he may fondle me. God damn it. God.
Jesus, buddy, you've developed like 3 phobias now. Yes, he is. Thank you very much for your call.
Okay, bye.
First, he's afraid stuff's going to hit him from the sky. Secondly, he's afraid a psychiatrist is going to fondle him. And thirdly, he's going to get hit by a car. This guy is developing phobias as we speak. And I think that's what happens. You get into this secondary anxiety, and it's out of control. 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in LA County. Phil Hendrie Show, KFI AM 640, more stimulating talk radio with Vicki Moore in the KFI News Center.
Thanks. Still that fire in the Summit Valley area of San Bernardino.
KFI.
Uh-huh. So what show is this? This is
Phil Hendrie.
Oh, that's right. 1-800-5201-KFI in Orange County, 5201-KFI in LA County. How did they slapdash that promo together? Dr. Laura kicks major ass. All right, anyway, I'm fooling around. I know the guys are under the gun over there. Hey, did you see this Amelia Earhart stuff? I don't know why is this interesting? First of all, why are they still looking for her? They really want to know where she crashed, don't they? They really want to they found her bones. You didn't hear about this, Leroy? You remember Amelia Earhart? She flew around the world. Great aviator. Bing asked me, would she be as big today had she not crash landed down in the Zulu country or something? And I said, I don't know. Her achievements were fairly significant up to that point, but she crash landed down there in Fiji. Now, Fiji, up until a few years ago, practiced cannibalism to a fine art, to a culinary art. And I bet you poor Amelia came in for a sweet landing on the beach. Some guy was in the woods going, looks like lunch to me. And that's all she wrote, brother. But now they say they think they may know where she's at. They think she crashed down in Fiji. And then that puts the rest where the hell Amelia Earhart went. And it's one of those stories. People, and they're like, this stuff about, is Jim Morrison dead or not? Yeah, I think, is Hitler dead? Well, that was going around for a while. Like Hitler was living somewhere. This is obviously, talk about a compulsive mindset. If you don't know where a guy went, because he has such power, or at least had such power in life, you think he got away with it and he's living forever, right? Because Hitler was so significant, a figure in the century, and so powerful and so evil that we think somehow, some way he cheated the hangman and he's out there somewhere living in Argentina, man, eating himself a $5 steak in Uruguay. But in point of fact, the guy got doused with gasoline there in the Berchtesgaden, and he and Eva went up and smoked. By the way, have you ever logged on to evabraun.com? It's a rock band. I tried to look up old Eva on the internet the other night, and I got some Swedish rock group. No, excuse me, they're from Yugoslavia. How about that? So, him, and then there was a thing about Jim Morrison. Is he alive? Is he dead? Well, of course he's got to be dead. I mean, a guy like Morrison has got to have an ego. He was in a rock group, hello. So he's got to want people to know that he's around, or does he just disappear? I don't think so. But I knew somebody, little squirrely, not too long ago said, oh, Jim was taken to Paris and tortured and flayed alive, and he's moldering someplace on a baggage claim cart at LAX. No, I don't think so. I think he's gone. So a lot of people thought old Amelia Earhart's probably walking around down there in Fiji in a grass skirt with a bone through her nose and saying, let's eat. When in point of fact, I think they found the old bones of Amelia. Same thing with those POWs. Not to be disrespectful, I understand there are many people who lost some, brothers and fathers in Vietnam. Those cats ain't around. Those guys are gone. But they're still trying to find them, see, because we haven't resolved the whole Vietnam thing inside of ourselves. And as long as that thing is unresolved, we want to think those cats are still alive. Am I right or am I wrong? Is old head shrinker Phil, am I onto something here or not? How you doing there, Justin? Is your name Justin? You still bucking to be an attorney man for the FCC someday? You've been back in Washington looking up the hell kind of question is that? Is your name Justin? I couldn't make out through the glass if it was Justin or it was Abraham Lincoln, man. I recognize the beard, not much else. So the point is that we get these, it's like, I guess it's another one of these phobias. We start thinking that people are still around because it's all about us and about them. These guys have been going out of Vietnam trying to find the POWs, man, for years. Those guys are gone. God rest their souls. Now we got old Amelia, man. They're down there looking for her. An American archaeologist said a link had been formed between medical reports dating from 1941 and the disappearance of Earhart and Noonan. Amelia, and now the thing of it is, and forgive me for saying this, I'm sure I read that Fred Noonan, now Amelia went up and Fred Noonan was her navigator. Apparently he liked to have a cocktail in the evening. Maybe two. And this is the truth. I believe I've read this, and if I'm wrong, forgive me. But I'm pretty sure that she was flying with a guy that, liked to tip maybe a little flask in around 5 p.m., not much before. So there they are flying around the world. They're going out over you, Bangui, or wherever the hell they are, and suddenly Fred says, cocktail time, and he's the navigator? And he's probably laying stuff on her like, I don't know, we're probably, well, where are we, Fred? For Christ's sake, you look at me for? God damn it, you're the one's going to be the goddamn famous one, not me. Look, Fred, we got to find, oh, bullcrap. I got it all figured out here on this napkin. That's the story that I heard, that Fred Noonan, the navigator for Amelia Earhart, liked to sauce tipple a little bit. And the next thing you knew, he thought it was LAX, and it turned out to be Fiji. They were coming in for a landing at what he thought was Burbank, and it turned out to be some freaking sandbar in the middle of the South Pacific. Looks like Burbank to me. And they're out there in the middle of where they're freaking blasting A-bombs now, man. They're on a freaking, what do you call those things, an atoll? The French are letting one off down there just as Amelia's coming in for a landing. We'll leave the landing lights on for you. So they don't know where they're at, but now apparently they got some kind of an idea that at least they found a skull and, they found 13 bones, including a skull and a woman's shoe and a sextant, which is like a compass. It had been discovered on the island of Nikomoruru 3 years after Earhart disappeared. Nikomoruru was then in the Gilbert and Ellis Islands, which are now the independent state of Kiribati. A British doctor studied the bones and made a comprehensive inventory of the remains. The doctor, Dr. D.W. Hoodless, made a report. It was discovered by the International Group for Artistic Aircraft Recovery, but the actual bones are missing. If they have the bones, they can do the DNA. They do the DNA, bingo, they got Amelia. And they can figure that out as to whether somebody is Northern European descent or African descent or what have you. They can figure out by looking at the skull. And then, of course, they can do a little alcohol test there on old Fred's DNA. You got it, Fred. 100 proof, straight Applejack. It's Fred Noonan. If we find the bones, DNA testing will confirm they actually are Earhart's remains, King said, from Suva, where he believes the bones are lost within government buildings and hospitals. Now, Fiji at that time, I believe, was a French protectorate. Today, Fiji is an independent nation, and as the crossover of administration took place, the freaking who's going to keep those, right? What the hell is this? I don't know. They're bones. They found it. It's a freaking dog's bones. Throw them away. Yesterday's lunch is what it is. They're ribs. They're having barbecue out there again. Don't put them in a box in some anthropological drawer, okay? Quit screwing around. No, I think they're Amelia Earhart's. Oh, that's a hot one. Into the garbage they went, and that's the end of the whole deal. So